Oh, you're there. Okay. So I started investing in poultry farming way back in 2022, and then a few years later, I started still investing in stocks and unit trusts. Okay, mainly unit trusts. That's why I really took the measure because stocks they gave me hard time. Like currently I live and survive. I've been raised and fully grown up in Uganda, so maybe even my knowledge of investment isn't that much good because sometimes I do focus more on the medical stuff, and so I haven't really gotten the proper measures to invest in stocks right away. But I invest in unit trust and then treasury bonds because they're available for us, and also little bit of stocks. Though I'll just tell you what my experience was in all those ones. So here in this video, I'll just be comparing how my experience on investing in poultry farming mainly and then investing in stocks. So let's just read like this. So here in 2022, I started a poultry farm. And then later, I think it was in 2024, that's why I started in unit trust, stock, 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 and bond. Okay, honestly, this one I haven't really invested so much into that. So let's start with the calculating and how everything really started. On the poultry farm, I started with very few birds. I started with 150 birds. This is what honestly I could afford at that point because I really had low capital and I was saving just minimum amounts of money back then. And so even my financial way, like running a business skills and all the things, my knowledge was so insufficient back then. And I think everything that I was doing wasn't in a some form of maybe a guy with the knowledge and strategy. You get someone who knows what they're doing. Back then I was just a trier and someone who is just starting up. So the business was really good. Yeah, at first because I wasn't really putting in so much because the birds first of all were really few, and because as I told you my knowledge of also taking up everything, it wasn't really that much big. So I was just leaving things to run almost more of naturally, right? Maybe I was just lucky enough that my birds didn't die at the end, and I was having layers. Sorry, and at the end of the month, like after 6 months, that's when they started, starting to lay some eggs after 6 months. Though some birds really lay much more earlier before that, like maybe some really lay eggs very like after 4 months or 5 months like that. But mine 6 months. I think maybe because the feeds were really of low budget, low budget feeds, low budget capital, even the shelter, like where they're staying, it was really low budget, not well ventilated, and all those things. For people who know about farming, I think that you can really know the challenges as to why there was a challenge in the growth and the development of the birds. So that just affected my stock back then, and so somehow I ended up like not having the idea, okay, better idea of investing in farming because I didn't really make profits as I'd expected. You get maybe I expected too much, yet I was putting in too little. You get I don't know. You can know that, right? When you have big expectations, but instead you're putting in much more less compared to what other people that you're eyeing on are putting in that thing. But I know when you put in the necessary measures, or for poultry, when you're good at what you're doing, so when you maybe you're trying to go for it, so you just ask yourself, am I good at this? Do I love it when I start it, right? Because honestly, this one requires some good amount of time. Like it requires time and it requires you to know what you're doing. That's the second one. Do I know it? So you have to be good at it, and then you have to know, you need to have sufficient knowledge about poultry farming. That as an example, like poultry farming. And then it requires also some good amount of capital. Yeah, capital for poultry farms is some essential, because you'll be putting in for the 6 months and you don't really expect any gain out of maybe the 6 months. And even that 6 months, still, that money to just be paying back what you have been using. So honestly, there are no profits at that point. So as a medical student, me, I thought that maybe for this one it will be a little really harder, right? Yeah, because imagine your 6 months, that's almost like a full semester. You have been putting in money and then you have to wait for another full semester, yet you're not, how can I say? Yeah, that's how you just imagine that state. Might be for you if I told you have some significant amounts of money, and then even starting with the number, this number isn't for someone who is aiming higher. This number is for jokers, right? Someone who is just, how can I say, doing it for leisure, for fun, not for business, right? So I think that's what I was doing. I was just doing it for fun because of the numbers. But inside me, I was feeling I was serious, and maybe I was doing something profitable and good. And then, again, the fourth one, you need to have the time to follow up, see up the bats. If I thought maybe you're not the one doing that, or you're not the one on ground, so you need to have some significant amount of time so that you'll be following up at least once in a while, not just leaving it there for other people to take or to do things for you, right? So this, but for medical students, I think most of these things are against us. So okay, it was against me. First, I didn't have the knowledge of it. I wasn't really good at checking up on bats on a daily basis. I wasn't really good at having, you know, I didn't have enough time and enough money to really fund that at the time. So I tried to switch gradually now to passive measures, right? That's where I got to this back in 2024. So in 2024, that's when I really started investing in this. So these last two, they really gave me a challenge, right? Because they needed some significant amount of money, which I really didn't have, right? And also, so that's why I chose like the unit trust. But because of maybe my low capital and my low resources that I was using, still also the profits best because they could come up. Some of these unit trusts were 30 days, 90 days, 139 days, and treasury bills. Okay, sorry, I'd forgotten that. Plus treasury bills. So unit trust and then treasury bills. Those are the ones like the common things available in Uganda, and I think for other people in other countries you have different things, right? But there are also passive income measures. If I don't know stocks, and because now for other places still there are individual stocks that are you can really get them at as low as maybe how can I say 80 US dollars or 100 US dollars. I don't know, but I think that's the range, right? So for me, I opted for these ones, and because I really had sufficient knowledge on investment in stocks and bonds, right? So these ones are readily available and easier to invest in, like basing on our like locally on ground here. it was much easier. So the advantages I got from here is that it was really easy to invest here, easy, no time required at all, like no time. Once I throw in money and maybe I start, I really needed no time like to follow up to do all those things. So it was really so perfect for a medical student, and I think it's really good for you when you really have some good amount of money and you're starting to be the best investment, right? Maybe if I told you have you're buying like how many 5 units at a go, 10 units, right? To start as a good income source. And what else? It required lesser capital, right? Lesser start up capital. For me, it was a little lesser compared to maybe the farm, where for the farm I really needed some good amount of money, not necessarily maybe just below, because buying I was buying almost everything, buying the feeds, buying the you know horses, paying whatever, and it was the people that were really taking care of the birds and everything, because I wasn't honestly on ground because I was in school, and so things were really much more harder for me. And so these are the differences that I really got from these two. And the main point that currently what I took and maybe what I honestly do is invest less of this and less of this, and I just solve problems for my class. That's my best investment currently. Yeah, so thank you for watching this point and I love you. Don't forget to give this video a like, and if you're a new member here, very new member, yeah, love on us and then subscribe to the channel. By that we shall be family and we shall give you more value. Thank you for watching and see you next time in the next videos like this. Bye.